Ari Epstein is a lecturer in the Terrascope program, where he reportedly does not lecture. He also teaches in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, which again is odd, since he is neither an engineer nor, by his own report, particularly civil. His checkered professional past includes oceanography, represented by a failed attempt to split the Red Sea, and a stint as the editor of a family science magazine that included in each issue a science project you could eat when you were done. The mercury thermometer was not a success. Epstein's personal favorite involved edible fiber optic cables. His wife, Joan, is reputed to have married him largely in order to gain access to the family's closely guarded hamentash recipe. The recipe is notable for its inclusion of edible fiber optic cables. Joan is reputed to have been undercover for the FDA at the time. Ari Epstein.
We pass through the audience now. We're going to do something having to do with, there we go. We're going to do something having to do with project-based learning, so I thought we should all at least do a project. So now what I'd like to have happen is, on this side of the room you should get a paper plate and one of these little bags of stickers. If you're on this side of the room, just the paper plate, okay? And the paper plates, they're, well, you sat on them a lot this side. They're thin, so they kind of stick together, so be sure you take them apart. There should be enough for everybody if you do that. Okay, so as many of you know, Terrascope is part of MIT's renewed emphasis on project-based learning. And as we were doing the early research for the foundations of the program, we discovered that we had been anticipated by centuries by a small group of Jewish bakers. And it turns out that the hamentash is in fact the perfect model for project-based learning. So let's talk about that a little bit. First we'll talk about the traditional learning model. In traditional learning, the student has to eat whatever the instructor feeds them, even if it's a greasy plate of kind of disgusting lentils. Here at MIT, we know this as the fire hose method of learning. And of course, we all know what that can lead to. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the alternative approach, project-based learning, which is based in part on an educational theory known as constructivism. Now, in constructivism, the learner constructs his or her own understanding of a phenomenon, and in the process, comes to know the topic inside and out. Clearly, the development of constructivism, we're thinking about the hamentash. So let's talk about project-based learning in particular. You want to base the experience on the student's own interests, whatever they're enthusiastic about. In the case of the hamentash, there's actually a lot of choices. Okay, so the dough can be cake style or cookie style, fillings sweet or savory. So for example, poppy seeds, there's raspberry, there's apricots, there's cream cheese and chocolate chips. You can fill with Nutella, very nice. Fluffernutter or fluffernutter latte, very delicious. There are also savory fillings available. And among the savory fillings, my personal favorite, I have to say, is a combination of tuna fish and onion. It's delicious. Also available is Swiss cheese. And many commentators, going back to the Hebrew name of the hamentash, Haman, Haman's ears, suggest that in the past the hamentash were in fact actually filled with human ears. Others dispute that and say no, they're not filled with human ears. Their ears themselves are filled with earwax. And I have no idea where the earwax got from. So a huge variety for students to choose among in the hamentash. With the latke, not so much. You can use a potato, or you can alternatively you can use a sweet potato. Not really a lot of variety. Another principle of project-based learning is that it's a team-oriented activity, and there are a variety of tools and techniques that you learn. The hamentash, fabulous. Okay, look at all these folks there having a wonderful team experience, enjoying themselves, learning a lot of new techniques. Okay, for the latke, again, not so much. You put it in oil, you let it sit for a while, and then you're kind of done. Finally, the last element of a project-based learning is some sort of high-stakes presentation of all the work you've worked on. Well, hamentash, it's dessert. Everybody loves dessert. It's a total high-stakes moment. For the latke, really hard. What? I don't know. Is it a dessert? Is it a floor time? What is that? So intense is the Latke's identity crisis, in fact, that people have gone to incredible extremes to find some use for it. This, for example, is a poached egg on a zucchini latke with white truffle. That's a delicacy that has no idea what it is. So we're going to do a little bit of a project. So in a limited amount of time, we'll do something. So let's start with the hamentash side. Wisely chosen. I have to say, okay. So everybody, so your paper plate. This is your disc of hamentash dough. Okay. These represent a variety of fillings. So the red might be raspberry, yellow might be apricot. What I'd like you to do is to put some filling in your hamentash. And you can trade with your neighbors. Like if you want all the yellow or you want the red. Okay? So cover your hamentash with fillings. Okay? So I'm going to make a combination of raspberry, apricot. I think that's a very nice flavor combo. Okay, delicious. Okay? Notice you can do whatever you want. It's entirely on your desires. Okay? Now, I'd like you to take this and fold up one side. Okay? Right. Now, fold another side. All right? Now, I want to point out, it's your choice what angle, how deep the fold. Your personality is expressed through this hamentash. The third side. Right? And at the end, you have a hamentash that represents your work, your preference, your enthusiasm. Yours is unique. Right? Okay, so fine. So the latke side gets a turn. Everybody, latke side, take your plates out. Okay? This is your latke. Okay, ready? Okay, you're done. Who of these people has the more enjoyable and entertaining and impact educational experience? Yeah.